Hello and welcome, music creators of all kinds. I'm Marshall Shaw with more music creation ideas to help celebrate the arts in you. Today's video is about chord-based melody writing, a perfect way to start learning about melody and chords. If you're new to melody and chord writing, I highly recommend visiting hooktheory.com. They present music theory in reference to popular music. David Carlton took on quite a feat by analyzing the chords of 1,300 popular songs. What were his findings? Well, I bet you could guess. There are 4 popular chords: G, F, C, and A minor. And that's chord 1, 4, 5, and 6 in C major. That's going to be perfect for today's video. We are going to be looking at those same chords except for A minor. We're just going to stick to something very basic. And this is the template I've created to show you that these are the chords we're going to be using and exploiting for every possible use in chord-based writing. So let's get started. A reminder that we're using StaffPad for iPad Pro, and my site is Expressivo, Celebrate the Arts in You. We're looking at, in this very basic example, chord 1, which is C, and the C chord is made up of C, E, and G. And within the key of C major, the 4th chord, counting up from C, is F. And F is made up of F, A, and C notes. And then we go to the dominant chord, which is chord 5, G major, which includes G, B, and D notes. And then we resolve back to chord 1, which again is C, E, and G. This is a very basic 4-bar progression. So what I'd like to do now is input the rhythm above the piano single staff. So the first bar will have a sound ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. Second bar, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta. Third bar, ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. And fourth, ti, 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 ta, ta. Basically that translates to quarter and eighth notes. And so now I'm going to enter the only 3 notes I can use, C, E, or G, using also the higher notes of the same if you want. Just don't have any major leaps. Think of it as if you were going to sing it, and you wouldn't want to have to jump from a low C to a high G. I'm just going to add some dynamic markings so that the chords are not too loud, and the piano single staff is the melody, so therefore louder. So that's our first performance of this little melody, and I'm going to add some hairpins, some crescendo diminuendos. That just gives it a little more human sound to it, human feel, and I'll just show you how easily StaffPad interprets that. And in most cases, if you take your time, it will recognize them correctly every time. But I have had times when I've rushed it and it's not read it correctly. Now, I'd like to try a bit of orchestrating, and instead of the piano single staff, I'm going to choose another instrument. So let's go with clarinet, and we just swap from piano to clarinet. And then instead of the piano part, I'm going to swap it for a harp. This is, of course, to give a little bit of added tone color. I would like to increase the volume of the harp so that it's not too quiet. And now let's hear the changes of instruments. Sorry, I just don't want the clarinet to be so loud. So let's just insert text, and I'm going to put a dynamic marking in to make it a little bit softer. You can modify. That was perfect. Every note was part of the chord for each bar, so perfect. So what I want to do now is I want to work with the automation layer and just adjust the swell of the clarinet so it's not so broad. Clarinets are notorious in digital audio workstations for this. Sometimes they just expand their sound, but I'm going to control that here. And StaffPad makes it very easy. I'd also like to add some articulations, tonguing, basically. The tonguing will be staccato on the eighth notes, and in the odd place I'm going to add slurs, just to be a contrast, very classical in nature, to the staccatos. So let me just finish that. Let's hear it now. Adding the articulations personalizes the performance, and it's certainly much more enjoyable to listen to. Let's get rid of my notes as well and finish this piece by putting your finger on the final bar line, and it will come up with a change bar line, and scroll over to final. I'd like to now replace the whole note chords to broken chords using the same notes that we've used to produce our melody, and you'll notice that they're in groups of 4 eighth notes, and all the notes there are in the chord of C major. Let's do the same for all the other 3 bars, and I'll meet you at the end. Now that that's done, I'd like to take out the chords from the right hand and modify the volume. So that's what we'll do now. Insert text, dynamic marking, and let's hear it now. That was very beautiful. However, there were a few wrong notes, so I didn't catch them. Did you catch them? Anyways, I think there's 1 or 2 still, but we'll catch those by the end. Now what I want to do is I'd like to take the right hand part of the harp and have that part play quarter notes on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th beats of the bar. And the notes can only be C, E, or G. So they're contrasting because they're quarter notes versus the eighth notes in the left hand. So let's try this. Okay, so let's listen to it. Beautiful clarinet playing, but too loud. So let's go edit the clarinet main volume, which will affect the entire part, and bring it down slightly. To bring the harp's right-hand part out, I would add octaves. That would bring them out much more. In future videos on this subject, I would introduce other chord progressions that I think you'd like even more. I hope you have enjoyed this video on chord-based melody writing to help you create new music. This is a beginner's level entry into this topic and can be easily extended. Leave a comment if you would like to see a further video on an example of this. Please take a moment to subscribe if you haven't already, like if you have enjoyed it, and select the bell icon to let you know when I have produced another video. Also, Most video compositions created here are placed on SoundCloud. I recommend the app GarageBand for iPad if you want to explore chords and melody writing. It's just fabulous. Keep making music and celebrate the arts in you as another way to communicate your thinking. See you soon in the next video. Take care.